I'm Robin Hauser, director and producer of THAW. It's a film about elective egg freezing.
What about this subject captured your mind and wanting to do a documentary?
It was definitely the social repercussions of the fact that women are not having children, or that women are waiting a lot longer to have children, and that they're suddenly realizing that it's not that easy when you wait till, say, 35 to have a child. So the long-term societal repercussions of the declining birth rates was really fascinating to me.
Talk to me about organizing this documentary and organizing your thoughts, because the documentary flowed so well, and I felt like I got everything I need to know and then some. So talk to me about organizing your thoughts and organizing the shoot, and talk to me about shooting this thing.
Yeah, the one thing I knew was that if you're covering a subject that's both sort of scientific and also deeply personal on a human level, like elective egg freezing or fertility, I knew that I needed to find subjects that would tell their story. So I really wanted to make it as verite as possible. And then I wanted to have the scientific or the medical aspect to the film too, which is, but not make it be too educational. Does that make sense? I mean,
it makes total sense. And there's been documentaries on this subject, and they've always been so medical, so CNN, whatever, news-like. But you had a good balance of the educational and the filming your subjects. Was it really hard to get your subjects to agree? Because this is such a very personal journey for a lot of couples and a lot of women.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to get them to agree, but I have to tell you that I didn't sleep really well for the 2.5 years that it took to make it, because I was worried that at some point one of them would pull out. I mean, the first thing I did was have them sign a model release, and I was thrilled to have them. I mean, it is deeply personal, and so especially finding somebody that let us travel with them. In Kathleen's story, we traveled to Barbados with her. Do you want to wait for that? We traveled to Barbados with her, and that fertility tourism, as it is, was a really important part of the film for us. And I just wanted to make sure that she was really comfortable. And there were some times when I had to talk some of our subjects off the ledge, make them realize it's different when you have this intimate thing with them. They don't really conceptualize the fact that someday this is going to be out to potentially millions of people, right, to view. And they're really vulnerable. So it's a lot of responsibility for me as director to make sure that I'm presenting them in a truthful way and a realistic way.
Do you think it helped any of them to tell their story? Because this issue is so very personal. It's a lot of heartache because it's touch and go. Do you think by being with them and documenting their story really helped them emotionally?
I do. I think it was very cathartic, especially for Kathleen. I think that was really a cathartic process for her. She decided to go to Barbados to do this egg retrieval all by herself. Her parents had offered to come with her, her friends had, and she decided to come by herself. Annie, who I was working with as producer, and I made a really conscious decision in the first day or so, not to interfere too much or invade Kathleen's space. We were there to film her, but we weren't her best friends, right? And that lasted about, 3 hours, because after that, Kathleen was like, wait, what are you doing for dinner? So we really did develop this very tight bond with her. And I think to be authentic to that, we ended up showing a little bit of that and breaking that fourth wall, in the film.
But I think it really helps in documentary filmmaker to really get close to your subject, so they become very comfortable and vulnerable, because you don't want them to think that you're in the room and there's a camera there. You want them to act naturally, and you did it so well. I mean, did you run with a big crew, a small crew? How did you guys shoot this?
It really depended. Of course, all the sit-down interviews, we had a big crew. All the Barbados shots are just me and Annie Marr. So just two of us, and we knew that. We knew that we were going to be potentially in the embryologist lab, right? And how important that was going to be to have just a really small presence. So it was very small there. We also taught our subjects how to develop a relationship with their camera on their iPhones. We set them up with really high res on a horizontal shot. And I remember there was a little hesitation there at first with Kathleen, for example, with Ryan. And I just said to them, when we're not here and when you're telling your story to the camera, to your own phone, just think of it as your best friend. And I have to tell you, I was just really pleasantly surprised with how well our subjects did that.
I mean, the footage looks phenomenal. It looks really good. What did you use? Did you just use the native camera app, or did you use another app?
For the iPhone selfies, we just used the native app, but we put it up to the highest res, and we made sure they had a really good iPhone. Luckily, most of them did. So yeah.
Every film here at the Naples International Film Festival is important, but I feel like this is extra important, so everyone can know what their daughter's going through, or their friend, or sister, or cousin, etc. So, what does it mean to bring this film to the audiences here in South Florida?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this today. Anytime I can show this film to an audience, I'm thrilled. I mean, I've never been more grateful to actually get a film up on the big screen, and I think the main reason for that is just because 2023, 2024 were really challenging years to be making a film. It's becoming increasingly difficult to find funding. And so I'm just thrilled, to have the film finished. It means everything. I have a 30-year-old daughter. She's actually 31 now, but so it's really important to me that young women understand how important it is to just understand their fertility, right?
Yeah.
And most of us don't. As young women, we spend half of our young adult lives trying not to get pregnant. And so, when we're in a situation when, you finally are thinking, okay, maybe now I do want to get pregnant, nobody really tells us how to do that or how difficult it might be.
And a lot of parents don't know how to talk to their daughters about the subject, So I think this film is very important for everyone to see. What's next for the film?
I'm going to work on distribution. I think it's becoming increasingly difficult to get films, especially documentaries, distributed, but we're working on it. This is the last festival because we actually premiered in May.
You've had a really good, successful run. What has the conversations been like after the screenings?
I think the conversations are, how do I convince my daughter to do this? One, how do we get more young women to see the film? Can we get this into colleges, right? At the same time, realizing that there are economic barriers to who can freeze their eggs. I think the most important thing and the most important message is that this is not, I didn't come out waving the banner for egg freezing, even though I am a firm believer in it. I just want people to realize the realistic sort of chances of being able to get pregnant from frozen eggs, right, in the future. And realize that it's not a guarantee, but the younger you are when you freeze your eggs, the better your chances will be.
And how to start that conversation, because that's what I really loved about your doc, is how to start that conversation, because it is hard. Congratulations on such a great film.
Thank you so much.